Next year in 2025, it will be 20 years since Revival Who, New Who, whatever you want to call it, debuted on our screens with Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. So many people have obviously been wondering, will the show acknowledge this in some way? Will there be some kind of celebration to mark 20 years of New Who, especially given that the showrunner from that era, the showrunner that brought it back, Russell T Davies, is back in the hot seat again and running the show? Well, he's finally answered that in this month's issue of Doctor Who magazine. So let's see what he said. Hi, I'm Phil, welcome to my channel. I like to make videos on all sorts of geeky pop culture, especially Doctor Who, so if you like geeky stuff, and Doctor Who especially, hit that subscribe button. As I said, we're talking about the 20th anniversary of New Who, and Russell T Davies has finally said whether or not he'll be doing anything on screen to celebrate. And unfortunately, for those hoping for this, the answer is no. In his regular column in issue 602 of Doctor Who magazine, he mentions this because he's talking about the recent anniversaries that the show has celebrated, the 60th anniversary of the show overall, and before that, The Power of the Doctor celebrating the 100th anniversary of television, and he mentions that he is often asked if the show will be celebrating 20 years of Revival Who. And he gives a simple one-word answer initially, no. And he apologises and says sorry. This is what exactly he said, with a little bit of a justification of why he's not doing it. He said, even though it's a time travel show, I don't think it looks good to have a 100th, that's The Power of the Doctor celebrating the 100 years of television, then a 60th, then a 20th, let alone the fact that it'll be season 2 or series 15 with a 20-year span. Mind-boggling. Let's look forward. Which kind of does make sense, and especially when they're obviously hoping to bring in a whole massive new audience for this new era of Doctor Who through Disney Plus in America and the rest of the world. Celebrating 20 years of not the show overall, but just this particular, or not even this particular version of it, because we're now onto a new version of it, but the version of it before, I can see why he might worry that that's maybe slightly confusing for new viewers, especially only 2 seasons into it. So that does kind of make a little bit of sense. It is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen some kind of celebration, even. Hopefully we'll get something in expanded media still, but yeah, it's a shame not to at least have something, even if it wasn't a big special, some kind of reference to it in the TV show itself. There might be other reasons as well. Let's not forget that relations aren't particularly amicable between the current production team and Christopher Eccleston, who was the Doctor at that launch 20 years ago, which will be 20 years ago in 2025. Don't forget, fairly recently, in fact, Christopher Eccleston said that the only way he would ever return to the show is if Russell T Davies, Julie Gardner, and some other people Phil Collinson, were all fired. So from that perspective, I guess it would be difficult to celebrate the beginning of the show without the beginning of the revival of the show without Christopher Eccleston's involvement at all. Or maybe they don't want to reference him because of the current animosity. Whichever side of the fence you fall on that's going to be an awkward situation, and I kind of understand why it's just impractical for it to happen. But it's still a shame that there's not this kind of, at least, acknowledgement. Like I say, we might get stuff in the expanded media. Don't forget, Big Finish have the 9th Doctor range of audios, which is still running. So there's the new one where he meets River Song out next month, something very soon. So I think there's a chance the Big Finish might do something. Maybe there'll be a 9th Doctor box set to celebrate the 20th anniversary. Maybe we'll finally get him and Rose in a box set together. That could be an interesting way of celebrating that anniversary outside of the TV show. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you disappointed? What do you think about Big Finish potentially taking over the reins of celebrating this in a big way instead? Let me know all that in the comments below, and I'll see you for more Doctor Who videos soon. Goodbye.